Hey, Shalom, Grand Rising, Osio, Lito, to you brothers and sisters out here. Um, I back again, but before I get into it, I want to give all praises, honor, praises, and glory to the power of Israel, just for everything he does. He's magnificent. But with that being said, guys, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind lately. I've been thinking about this a lot. One second, let me drink my water. And as you can see, I'm at the job. So yeah, hopefully these loud noises don't bother you guys too much. But anyway, so I've been thinking about this quite often when I'm driving around. And if you guys can tell, I'm a truck driver. I drive semi-trucks. I am on the road for about 12 hours a day. And I'm driving hundreds of miles each day. And when I'm on the road, I listen to a lot of things while I'm driving. And one of the shows that I listen to is Tariq Nasheed. I don't listen to him often. I used to listen to him a lot way back in the day, but I really don't listen to him that much anymore, just because a lot of stuff he says is very carnal, and I just don't really like to deal with carnal things all the time, especially when they're just super carnal. He can be very carnal. But Tariq Nasheed now does this thing where he goes onto Twitter Space and he lets people come into his room and chat with him, right? And there was this one white guy who called in, and he was talking, of course, to Tariq, asking him about reparations, right? And essentially, this white guy got to the point to where Tariq asked him, he's like, well, do you think white people deserve reparations? No, he didn't ask Tariq. Tariq didn't ask him. The man said that he think that he deserves reparations, this white guy. And I've heard this several times before. I've heard white people use this or say this several times before, that, hey, white people deserve reparations, or I deserve reparations because of this and that. And my thing is this: it doesn't matter what your family history is. It doesn't matter what you have went through as an individual white person. But your plight is not the same as the so-called American Negro and our descendants, whether you're mixed or just completely what they would call black, right? Or American Indian. They have never been through the same struggle as we did. See, many of us, we bring up Psalms 83 because that's a very important scripture. We bring it up because it actually means something. It means something. We have been abused and oppressed as a people for hundreds of years, right? Because of Psalms 83. This is why I don't believe in the New World Order. I don't believe in a New World Order. I believe in the One World Order. And the One World Order has been here since 1492. At least in the United States, it has been here since 1492, but it has existed way before 1492. The One World Order is real. It's very real. But guess what? A lot of these white people who complain about the New World Order, the One World Order, guess what? You guys are a part of it. You guys are a part of it. You may not be the ruling class of the One World Order, but you're still part of the One World Order. You guys are the enforcer class. You guys are the police officers that discriminate against us. You guys are the managers and supervisors who don't hire us or who fire us, who turn away our applications. You guys are the ones who work at the bank in these real estate offices that redline us. That's who you guys are. You're a part of the one world order. And it all goes back to Psalms 83. That the world formed a confederacy. They formed a tumult to destroy us as a people and to erase our name off the face of the planet and to distance us from our God, the God of Israel. So don't sit here and say that you guys deserve anything that our people deserve. And see, this is the thing. Though reparations from this world will be nice, they can never give us what we're owed. They can never give us what we're owed, because they can't bring back all the stuff they have taken from us. They have taken lives. They can't bring back those people. So they can never, ever repay us for what they have done. This is why Tariq, he always says, cut the check. That's not enough. It was funny because it was some brothers who called in several times over the past, I want to say a year, where it was forget the money, give us land, because land is more valuable. And Tariq like, no, man, give me cash. Don't give me crypto, give me cash. Cash is more valuable. They give everybody else cash. But see, this thing, the value of money is always determined by the person who wants it. So if people don't want it, or if as we see, the dollar value devalues every year because of inflation. We are trillions. The U.S. government is trillions of dollars in debt. Every year, the dollar becomes less and less and less. I'm talking about the U.S. dollar, right? But the value of land doesn't go down. Land will always be worth something. Always be worth something. And even if it's not worth anything to anyone else, guess what? As long as you got some good land, you can grow you some food, you can raise you some animals, build a home on it, guess what? It doesn't matter. The US dollar could die tomorrow. And if you got 2 acres of land and you're growing stuff and you're taking care of your family and others around you, guess what? You don't need money. You can barter, you can do all this other stuff. Money is just a means to an end. Money has no value in itself. A dollar doesn't have no value in itself. And we see that with Venezuela. Their money down there is so bad, they'll be better off blowing their nose and wiping their ass with it. And that's the truth. So no, it's not all about cut the check. That's very carnal, you know what I'm saying? But just the fact that these white people, so-called white people, think that they're owed anything because they may be poor, or because they didn't take advantage of their white privilege, or because they may have had a bad life, or their ancestor was a slave. And yes, I know there were white slaves, but see, this is the thing. Like I said, with the one world order, they initiated the poor white men, the white peasants. They initiated them. I'm up here. I was just running my words together. But they initiated the poor white men, the peasants, back in the 1800s into this one world order. Well, they did it before that too, because they was using them as the enforcers. They were using them as the hired hands to work their ships, and to, when they were coming over here to the Americas, and to shoot us down and kill us. So they used them as sailors and soldiers. But the ones who were brought over here as slaves, guess what? You guys were initiated into the one world order when they freed you guys, because you guys were working with us at a certain point in time where there was a lot of revolts and revolutions, and then they came together. They was like, you know what? How about we elevate our white brethren so that they can stop working with these Negroes, these Indians, to get their lands back? And they elevated their status. They gave them money. They gave them land. And they did that all the way up until the 1970s, guys. And then after that, the poorer whites, they created a new class, because before it was just only the rich and the poor. They created a middle class for their white people, right? They're people who got inducted into the hall of the one world order, right? They create that middle class. And that's what the middle class was created for, so that they can have their poor whites be happy and have things, so that they won't work with us Negroes, who are really the American Indians. This is why they did that. So you guys have been enforcing the one world order. You guys have been doing that for hundreds of years. So while y'all sitting here crying, oh, new world order this, new world order that, there ain't no new world order. It's a old world order. And that old world order is the one world order. It has been here for hundreds of years. Their religious arm is the Vatican. Their financial arm is England. And their military arm is the United States. And we see that. We see that today. Look how united they are against Russia right now. And I believe that this is all smoke and mirrors and this is all a game, to fulfill their agendas. And I spoke about that in another video. But yeah, I mean, it's so funny how they cry about the new world order, and the average white guy is a part of the one world order. They're a part of the one world order. And it's not my fault. You're not old or you're not entitled reparations just because, like I said, you had a hard life and you didn't take advantage of your white privilege. That's not my fault. But the average white person has it much better in the world, not just the United States, the world, than my people do. We are the so-called American Indians, the so-called American Negroes and our descendants. We are the American Indian. We are the true American Indians. We are the people that the European explorers documented first seeing here, okay? And you can look this stuff up yourself. You can do your research yourself. I ain't gonna go through all that. But we've been here, right? And ever since they touched our shores, they've been terrorizing us. And they have taken everything from us. You can read about it in the book of Deuteronomy. And just throughout the entire Bible of what they would do to us. And terrorize us and torture us. So ain't no way in hell you guys are owed anything when they have given you everything. My people have been struggling since you guys have gotten here. And you think that you're entitled to anything? I drive around all over. I drive hundreds of miles. And I go through cities. I go through suburbs. I go through rural areas. And guess what? I see the same pattern. I see black people with nothing. Black people with no cars in their driveways. Dilapidated areas, neighborhoods, homes. And if they do got vehicles, the vehicles are dilapidated. You see what I'm saying? But when I go through these little rural areas where the poor whites live, right? The less fortunate whites live, guess what I see? I see a house that's more than likely owned by them, probably passed down several generations, right? Sitting on about 5 to 20 to 50 to 100 acres of land. Now you want to sit there and say that you're poor? I bet money I can go and pick any little redneck that's sitting out there in the rural area, right? And they'll tell me, yeah, I deserve reparations. I don't have opportunities. I'm poor. But are you really poor when you're sitting on about 5 acres of land? You have a house that's paid off that was handed down to you. You got 2-3 cars in your driveway. I mean, I'm telling you, this is what I see when I'm driving out here in these rural areas. Because allegedly, that's where most of the white people live, in rural areas. I'm driving in these rural areas, and guess what? I'm seeing driveways with 2-3 cars, with campers, with RVs, trailers, boats, ATVs. And they're sitting here saying that they're poor just because they're not rich. Just because they're not, the part of the upper echelon of the one world order, they think that they're poor. They think that their struggle is our struggle. How dare you? How dare you sit there and say that we have the same struggle, that you're entitled to the same reparations that we deserve, the same repair that we deserve. See, the world can't give it to us. Only our God can give us the repair that we need, because reparation means to be repaired. Only our God can give us that reparation. And I can't wait till that day. But it just makes me sick that these people will sit here and say that they deserve the same thing they have when the average black person has nowhere near as much that they have. I mean, they can literally be sitting on 5 acres of land and say, I'm poor. You know how much 5 acres of land is going for in Ohio? 5 acres of land in Ohio is going for over $70,000. Over $70,000 for 6 acres of land. It's about $10,000 for an acre of land here in Ohio. Now I know other places may be cheaper, but Ohio has very expensive land. And you're sitting here saying that you're poor and that you need reparations. I bet money that guy that called into Tariq Nasheed's show has way more than an average black person. And with his white privilege, he has access to way more than this so-called black person has. And see, they talk about discrimination like, oh, you called me a honky, or you called me this and that. That's racist. That's discrimination. It's not the same thing. Because I've never heard of a situation where a white person was hung from a tree and called a hunky. I've never heard of a white person being fed as gator bait or hung from a tree because they were white. I never heard of black people coming out in large masses just to hang white people, burn down their towns, be chased away. Never, ever have I heard that. So for white people to sit here and say that they deserve what my people deserve, please, man, please. Miss me with that shit, man. I'm sorry for the language, but I'm up here getting a little riled up because, I mean, it really sickens me. But they're delusional, man. I'll tell you this, if you can embody the white race into a single person, right, and get them checked out for a mental evaluation, they will be deemed crazy. They will be deemed like, I don't know, with delusions of grandeur and all this stuff, because they are really delusional about their position in this world and what they have done to people. Yes, I know that a lot of them are willfully ignorant, but there are some of them who are just delusional to what they have done to people. They're just like, yeah, so we didn't do that. My grandfather, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, y'all think y'all the saviors of the world. You know, that's why I came and watched, like, when I was a kid and when I was a young adult, I used to love watching Marvel movies. But then when I start to realize who we truly were as a people, like really start to internalize, it's one thing to know, and it's another thing to act and to internalize it and to act on it, right? When I started to internalize who we were as a people in our position in this world and who our God is, who our power is, I started to operate differently. And I stopped watching those movies with white heroes because I'm like, wait, this is white people lifting themselves up like always. Because white people, in the grand scheme of all existence that has been created, they are very small. And they really don't mean much in the grand scheme of existence. Their true purpose, from what I believe, their true purpose here on earth is to be the devil. And to be a test to us to see if we can rise up to be the gods that we truly are. That's my realization of what their purpose is here. They are just a means to an end. And yes, I'm not saying that all white people are evil and all white people can't elevate. Yeah, there's white people who can elevate to a great status. Sorry, I was trying to clear my throat and ended up almost making myself sneeze. But that's weird. But anyways, you know, sure, white people can elevate these heathens. They can elevate themselves to a great status. The only thing is that they have to bend the knee to the God of Israel and his people. That's wisdom. It's wisdom. But yeah, I mean, they have been sent here to be a thorn in our side so that we can prove ourselves to our God that we are godly, that we are gods ourselves. You can read about it in the book of Abraham. I shared it in a previous video about the book of Abraham, and how we are truly gods. You know what I'm saying? But it just makes me sick, man. These white people are so delusional. They think they deserve what our people deserve, and they think that there's this boogeyman, one world order out here that they're not a part of. You guys are all a part of it. You're a part of it. It is what it is. You're a part of the one world order. You can cry about it all you want, but just because your position has changed in the one world order does not mean that the one world order has just come into existence and they're finally making moves. No, you guys have been making moves on my land, my people's land, since 1492. Y'all have been used as the henchmen and the strong arm of the One World Order since 1492. And now since y'all position has changed and they use you guys like a $2 hoe, and now y'all know that y'all that $2 hoe, now y'all want to cry about black man. Yeah, we got the same struggle as you, man. Oh man, vote Republican. These people think a political party is going to save them. They think that a president is going to come and save them when it's all fixed. It's all fixed. Voting for a president ain't going to save nothing. Because if they get in that office, guess what? They were meant to be in that office. They were placed in that office. You can't vote a president in office. Because the people who choose and pick presidents, they're all rich. They're all rich people. They're all connected and they're all clicked in. Okay? So ain't no way they're going to put in a president that's beneficial to you. They're going to put in a president who's beneficial to their agendas. But yeah, man. This whole Ukraine thing has gotten so ridiculous. Oh my God, it has gotten so ridiculous, guys. I mean, it's just the way they're doing it now. Like, you can just tell they're actors. They're actors. Like, my wife was telling me about this situation last night that she was watching, and she was explaining it to me. I can't really remember offhand what it was, but I remember at the time she was talking to me. She was talking about how ridiculous it seemed. And I'm like, yeah, it seemed to be so ridiculous. But they're literally like letting people have interviews and. Man, it's crazy. They're asking us to have support. And see, the thing is, I think with the whole Ukraine thing, I noticed that a lot of the people who are asking for support for Ukraine are the governments and then these huge businesses. They're even putting it up on billboards. We support the Ukraine, or we stand united with the Ukraine. And it's always from these large businesses. And I think the reason why is because a lot of people aren't going for it. Of course, black people aren't going for it because we see how racist these people are. So we're like, we don't care. But then I think even the white and non-white heathens are going for it. They're not going for it just because they don't want to get involved in another war. And they're like, hey, we got problems as it is. We got our own problems. So why do we need to go over here and fight a war, drain even more money from our falling economic system? You know what I'm saying? That we got inflation to deal with. Why do we need to go over here and be involved in this war? You see? So I think that in order for the United States to act on this whole situation, they need to be kind of like co-signed by the people. They need the people to support them. Because if they go in there and do what they do unsupported by the American people, there's going to be a big backlash. So they kind of have to get a good amount of people on their side before they start doing things that can cost their sons and daughters their lives. You know what I'm saying? Because that's who's mostly going to be over there, are their sons and daughters. And they're like, hell no. It has to be justified first from the people before they can send all these white people's sons and daughters over there to get killed. You know. But anyways, guys, I do have a video I'm going to share with you guys later on. Tomorrow is my day off, so maybe this evening or tomorrow I'm going to make a video. That same friend who sent me the flat earth video footage, you know, from his plane, he also sent me another video that I want to share with you guys. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. It's a ritual that has taken place in the past few days. And it's dealing with Russia and the United States. So I'm going to share that with you guys later on. Anyways, peace out, shalom, and may the power of Israel bless you all.